For better or worse, 2022 was the year of Andrew Tate. He is a former kickboxing champion who now uses his mouth for his combative kicks. He rose from the ashes of a fighter's career to the zeitgeist of our modern world with a loud voice and a lot of controversial opinions. Misconstrued or not, Tate is on record saying an abundance of misogynistic things about women. His attitude toward women is unclear, but thanks to his relentless controversies and his ideologies and standpoints on a range of interesting topics, he has gotten rich. Regardless of what you may think of Andrew Tate, he's got the experience in combat sports to speak on the subject. He can leave the ideas about women's roles at home when it comes to commenting on the UFC, but he probably won't.
Like I said, it's only early. He's having trouble with the reach, but it is only early, like I said.
Tate is knowledgeable when it comes to mixed martial arts. He has earned the merit to comment on the combat sport and the outcomes. Again, try your best to put everything else you know about him to the side, as hard as that may be. When Andrew Tate isn't appearing on every podcast under the sun, or when he isn't trying to organize a blockbuster boxing match with KSI or Jake Paul, Tate still spends most of his time, well, talking, of course. As we said, Tate knows how to talk about combat sports. He's talked about all sorts of fights. He's even talked extensively about Khabib Nurmagomedov's huge championship title defense against the notorious Conor McGregor. Can you believe it's been over 4 years since Khabib and Conor locked horns in the octagon? Oh, how time flies. The fight was one of the biggest events the UFC had ever put on. The anticipation was palpable. You could cut the tension with a butter knife. Khabib won the fight. He almost ripped Conor's head off with a rear naked choke. He was cranking Conor's neck, turning the Irishman's face purple. Khabib dominated the fight, once more solidifying his legacy as the most unstoppable fighter in the weight class. So of course Andrew Tate shared his thoughts on the championship bout. I mean, seriously, how could he not?
What are we going to say about this guy?
When he's done?
When he is done. What are we going to say about Islam Makhachev?
Andrew Tate has his own reasoning why Khabib won the fight. Tate said, "I knew Khabib would win the fight. Khabib is a strict Muslim. I believe in the power of Allah." Okay, stop right there. This dude says all sorts of insane stuff, but it's always funny when guys who do, and get whatever they want, bring up a higher power. What do they give back? Anyway, I'd love to hear Khabib's thoughts on Andrew Tate, but I digress. Tate wasn't done talking. Duh, he said, train Allah, train Allah, train Allah, talking about Khabib. There's nothing else to his life. Do you want to spend millions of dollars? No. Do you want to go to the club? No. Do you want girls? No. That's how it is. Are you gonna beat that guy? Tate's not wrong. Khabib is known for a stoic discipline, and it's taken him pretty darn far. He retired from the UFC undefeated, smashing every single person who stood in front of him. Tate nailed it, honestly. His precise take on the fight told the story. Conor is a superstar, and he acts like it. He lives it. Look at Instagram, and you'll see Conor flexing on a yacht.
The uppercuts, it all started with the uppercuts. That's what really dazed Marcus Brimage.
Look on Instagram for Khabib Nurmagomedov. Oh yeah, he doesn't have one. Why would he? Like Tate said, Khabib is a disciplined warrior. He fights and he turns to Allah on repeat. Commitment and discipline are the defining traits of a good fighter. There's no room for error in the octagon. The more dedicated the fighter is to training and pushing himself past his limits, then the more likely he will have his hand raised at the end of the fight. That defines Khabib in a nutshell. But what's up with Andrew Tate in his own life? Word on the street is he's got his own issues to worry about. Well, Andrew Tate and his brother live in Romania.
Fable, there has never been across the history of humanity any respect put on the name of a promiscuous female ever.
They were recently arrested in their residence for their involvement in an alleged human trafficking. Yeah, yikes. And that's not all. Tate also has an ongoing investigation lingering over his head. These are some very serious allegations for Tate. He can't really comment his way out of this on a podcast. But hey, good news. Apparently, there is speculation the arrest had nothing to do with human trafficking, which would be great. Sounds like the arrest had to do with suspicions of money laundering. Can rich people not relax and be happy with what they've got? Dang, man. There isn't enough money in the world to fill the pockets of these greedy people. This is funny.
If a woman now is married to 2 men.
Haram.
Why?
No, I'll tell you why.
Tate was located and tracked down thanks to a pizza box. During his absurd and childish spat with climate activist Greta Thunberg, the pizza box was seen in the frame of his video response. Tate and Thunberg went at it pretty hard on social media for about a week. Because yeah, this is the world we live in. Whatever. As usual, money talks. Tate and his brother have been let go for the time being. Enough about Andrew Tate. Let's talk about another ridiculous presence in the world of MMA. Speaking of Khabib and Conor having major beef inside and outside of the octagon, Dillon Danis, everyone's favorite "Why do we care about you" guy, is talking about his involvement in the melee leading up to the altercation at UFC 229. Winning a championship is supposed to be a beautiful thing. You feel the greatness of the moment, and the ref raises your hand.
I was in the moment, to be honest. He's in front of me, and he's a ugly ass face, so I just smacked him. That's all it is, you know.
And that buffer brother from the UFC screams your name, and then Dana White, who hits his wife, puts the belt around your waist. Epic, right? Things got a little heated after the championship fight, to say the least. McGregor had been talking a lot and taking shots at Khabib. Turns out that really bugged the champ. As soon as the fight was over, Khabib rushed to the gate and jumped over. He wasn't done dismantling people. He jumped over the octagon and went after Dillon Danis, everyone's favorite "who cares" guy. Danis tries to sound tough about the whole thing. He wasn't in the octagon, so it's pretty easy to sound like a bad. According to Danis, for the entire fight, Khabib kept gesturing at him outside the cage and saying stuff. And then after the fight, once the ref pulled Khabib off of Conor, Danis pointed at Khabib and said, "Come over." And then as we all saw,
hammer fist by Danis, and of course,
Khabib went over there. Everything was stopped before it got too out of hand, but it was ugly and left a stain on the event. It didn't exactly hurt the UFC though. What is Dillon Danis up to now? Do you think he's flying to Dagestan to face up with Khabib?
Danis started training jiu-jitsu when he was 15. Started training with Marcelo Garcia.
Oh, he's not? He's set up to fight a guy who isn't a real professional fighter? Shocking. Danis is set to fight KSI in January of 2023. This will be the ex-Bellator fighter's first time competing since 2019. Even back then, nobody cared about Dillon Danis.
Blue for filming everything. My sparring partner's Alex. Alex fights exactly like Gib.
He's making his boxing debut against a YouTuber. He couldn't even get a fight with Jake Paul.
I never would have expected it.
I hope you're very happy to see me. I hope.
I'm very happy to see you.
Who would probably knock his head off. He recently talked to Ariel Helwani on his show about the upcoming fight.
You know, I think it's extremely important. It's something that a lot of people are not doing, and when I plan to transition to MMA.
Danis always tries to sound big, so of course he told Ariel he paid a hefty fee to be able to get the fight, more than anyone in the UFC, he says. Great. Good luck against the YouTuber, pal. Thanks for watching, guys. What do you think of these two guys, Tate and Danis? Leave a comment below. We'll be back soon with more content to entertain you. Until then, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and show us some love. We'll see you soon. Take care.